About 8 months ago, I started a fermentation with my peach butcherlokias, and today we're going to be finishing that sauce off. But first, let's go back to when I actually started the sauce. These are the ingredients we need for our fermentation. So here we have just over 100 grams of the peach butcherlokia, which we're going to chop up in just a little bit, just so we can open them up. And over here we have 1.5 teaspoons of peppercorns and 1.5 teaspoons of cumin seeds. Now the peach butcherlokia is an Indian pepper. Well, it's originally from India. And a lot of Indian cooking has cumin in. I really enjoy the flavor of cumin as well. So that's going to go in here. I think it's really going to complement very nicely the flavors that are going on here. There we go, and these just need to be put in the jar. It's a very fruity smelling pepper, and there's quite a bit of spice in there. So let's make up our brine. About 2 months into the fermentation, I replaced the lid of the fermentation with a normal lid. So the other lid is one that allows an airlock. And after about a month or so, you're no longer producing CO2, so there's no longer a need for the airlock. So you can actually just go and stick a lid on there, just a quick tip. And that's why we see the lid on here. Unfortunately, I've shaken this up a little bit, so it's a little bit cloudy. But here's our butcherlokia, and it's looking good. I am looking forward to seeing how it comes out. There's going to be one other ingredient I'm going to be adding, and that is some garlic. Quite a bit of garlic, actually. I think it's going to go well with the cumin flavors that are in here and the butcherlokia. Kind of like almost a curry type flavor. So let's get processing. Like I said, it shouldn't look cloudy like that, but unfortunately with shaking it up, it causes that problem. But let's open that up and give it a quick smell. Oh, beautiful fermented smell. I can definitely smell quite a bit of heat in there. But yeah, it smells good, just the typical fermentation smell. That's one thing, just to make sure when you are making, especially a long-term fermentation like this, if there are any smells in there that don't smell right, just bin it. You don't want to take a risk, but this here smells gorgeous. I have some of my giant garlic, which isn't very strong, but then we've also got some normal cloves of garlic there. And what we're going to do is use our blender, just throw that all in there, as well as everything in here. Because I didn't add too much salt, I didn't make it like a 5% mix, which some people do, then this won't be too salty. So let's just pour that in there. I think it was a 2.5% mix, if I remember correctly. Let's make sure we get everything in there. I'm going to use a little bit of vinegar just to get the last of the bits and pieces in the bottom there out. We're not going to be using a lot of vinegar. This is just plain white distilled vinegar. I don't want an overwhelming taste of vinegar in here, but also don't want to add water to dilute the acidity of this. So we're just going to add a little bit in there, about a tablespoon and a half maybe. And we'll just mix it up and pour that in. Now, we'll blend this up and see what we get. Oh. That smells so good. Obviously, by blending it, you are releasing the cumin smells and obviously the pepper that's in there, but the cumin really comes through. Now, one thing I'm going to do as well, you can see it's quite liquidy. We're going to use a little bit of xanthan gum to thicken it up just a tad. So about a quarter of a teaspoon of xanthan gum. Do not go overboard with xanthan gum. It'll make it very thick very quickly. Another thing I'm going to add is some sweetener. Now, you can add sugar, but to do that you're going to have to cook this through a little bit because sugar might kick off the fermentation again. Hopefully the pH is low enough, and we'll test that in just a little bit, that the fermentation won't continue. But if you use sweetener, you won't have a problem. This is erythritol, and it's a tablespoon. That is much better. So for thickening like this, xanthan gum is my preference, and that's because you can use it whether you're putting it into hot liquid or cold liquid. A lot of the thickeners out there require heating it through before it to actually take. Xanthan gum doesn't need that. Let's test the pH of this. That's a good consistency, and it's a little bit lighter at the moment purely because when you blend it up it's going to introduce a little bit of air, but that'll go away and this will settle down to a bit of a darker color. There we go, 3.9. Anything below 4 I'm really happy. Honestly speaking, below 4.6 is what you're looking for, but there's always a chance of something going wrong, so just try and go a bit lower than that. Below 4 is where you really want to be aiming for. But there you go, that's 3.9, and couldn't be happier. Just have to rinse that off. It's time to give this a taste. Cumin right up front, that's great. Heat is there, definitely a butcherluck heat there. Heat's on the lips. A little bit on the tongue. It's a nice burn, but yeah, a lot of it is on the lips. But flavor is great, and the garlic that I added really came through nicely. I'm happy with that. That's a good tasting sauce. When it doesn't go down your throat like that, the wrong way. I'm going to be bottling this up now. This is for my own personal use. I didn't make a whole lot. There's about just under 500 milliliters there, so about a pint. So that'll keep me going for a little while. And what'll that go great on? I think that'll go fantastic on lamb. So we're having a barbecue a bit later on today, and I think I'll be using a bit of that on our lamb that we're going to be cooking. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one. Until then, stay safe and stay spicy.